We do have these shares. We believe that when you take your eye off the ball like that, you're not following your fiduciary duty to do the best you can for your shareholders. So we're going to be launching an inquiry about Bud Light and InBev, and it could be something that leads to a derivative lawsuit filed on behalf of the shareholders of the Florida pension fund, because at the end of the day, there's got to be penalties for when you put business aside to focus on your social agenda at the expense of hardworking people.
What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Recording. Hope you're having an absolutely wonderful day. Happy Friday to you. By the way, if you're tuning in, wherever you're tuning in, YouTube, Rumble, BitChute, Odyssey, I hope that today will be the day to earn your subscription. I know you might just check the channel and you don't really see a point in it, but it does help YouTube know that people actually care about my content and might actually put it out there. Now, Bud Light, one of the most disastrous marketing campaigns in history. This will be studied in colleges in 20 years, almost certainly. High schools, colleges, marketing schools at minimum. Now things have taken a turn for the worse, as they are now under investigation by Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, and among other things, as their stock continues to tank. I'm really happy, by the way, to have a sponsor for this video. Up until now, the digital dollar, or CBDC, has been nothing but a headline. But right now, things are developing at a rapid pace. It started with a sweeping executive order from the Biden administration, and now central banks are even hiring for their development. Here's the thing. A digital dollar can be used to track your purchases, control what you buy, or even seize or freeze your assets. That's why it's critical you protect your money with precious metals like gold and silver. I've partnered with the top-rated precious metals company, Goldco, because they're a great company with an amazing reputation. Right now, they're giving you up to $10,000 in free silver while supplies last. Plus, all qualified callers this week will receive a free Ronald Reagan silver coin. Don't wait until all of your money is under Biden's control. Go to quarteringgold.com to learn how you could get started today. Go to quarteringgold.com to learn how to protect your retirement and your investments and score some free stuff if you qualify. Now, Ron DeSantis wants the state's pension fund to investigate Bud Light makers and Anheuser-Busch, InBev, and possibly explore a lawsuit for putting social activism ahead of shareholders during its partnership with Dylan Mulvaney. The Florida governor, a 2024 Republican presidential candidate, sent a letter to the fund's interim director, Lamar Taylor, where he said that all options are on the table after partnering with influencer Dylan Mulvaney caused Bud Light parent company to lose $27 billion. So when you look at the pension fund, essentially what they're saying here is you had a breach of your fiduciary duty, of your duty to maximize shareholders' return on investment by choosing an activist thing, and it ended up costing a bunch of money to retirees or people hoping to retire. And there are laws in place to protect people from this kind of stuff. Quote, "We must prudently manage the funds of Florida's hardworking law enforcement officers, teachers, firefighters, and first responders in a manner that focuses on growing returns, not subsidizing an ideological agenda through woke virtue signaling," DeSantis wrote. The governor is a trustee on the pension fund's board that manages retirement funds for public workers. Speaking to Jesse Waters on Fox News Thursday, he added that it could lead to a derivative lawsuit filed on behalf of the shareholders. Bud Light sales continue to plummet in regions across the United States nearly 4 months after the brand's polarizing partnership. Sales in North and South Carolina suffered the greatest dip, falling from 20% in 2022 to 12.5% in the same period of 2023, a drop of nearly 7%, according to the Hospitality Consumption Data Plan Union. New York and New Jersey stumbled 5.1% combined, followed by Texas with a 2.4% dip, Oregon and Washington following 1.8%, and California with a 0.85%. The embattled beer brand had better luck in Texas, but saw declining sales across the state. Bud Light dropped 2.4 points from 8%. America's flagship beer has been sent into a steep decline after it used the controversial influencer to promote the beverage back in April. While Bud Light has seen sales fall in every region of the country, Miller Lite has seen some success in recent weeks. Well, we know that Miller Lite and Coors Light and these other brands are all flourishing greatly. Now, if we look at where they're falling the fastest, well, That is in these two states. Bud Light sales have fallen most in North and South Carolina and least in California, according to a company that makes software for bars and restaurants. Union's point of sale system used in 1,100 bars and restaurants in 36 states. However, on its latest on-perm insights report, only provides detailed breakdowns for 8 of those states. Conservative campaigners have been targeting the brand. I think that it's basically done. It's basically done. Union's report found that North and South Carolina had the most dramatic drop in sales. Well, good for North and South Carolina. Shout out. Beer Institute. Now, this also another investigation. Beer Institute Code Compliance Board rules that Bud Light ad not in violation of marketing code, urges BI to review influencer advertising. The Beer Institute's Code Compliance Review Board has found that Bud Light sponsored content with Dylan Mulvaney did not violate the trade group's advertising marketing code for buying guidelines. Republican Senators Ted Cruz and Marsha Blackburn initiated an investigation back in May into 2 posts on, of course, Dylan's Instagram page, leading to, obviously, the disaster. Now, this initial investigation was launched because the implication was that Dylan's viewership is vastly below the drinking age, the legal drinking age. So it was like they said, "Hey, you can't do this. Your viewers are significant." There are rules there's a reason you don't see beer commercials on kids' television programs and things of that nature. This article too yesterday. Bud Light's popularity in bars has collapsed. I mean, it's insane. Anheuser-Busch's global CEO, Michael Idiot, said in May that the decline in Bud Light sales represented 1% of the company's global sales volume. However, Union reported a 34% year-on-year drop in Bud Light's sales share from the second quarter of 2022 to the second quarter of 2023. A 34% drop. That is massive. That will close a company. That will shut you down. This took it from the number 1 spot to the 4th spot at Union's bars and restaurants, the top 10 beers completed by Dos Equis, Corona, Guinness, Modelo, Stella Artois, and Yuengling. In the first week of the boycott, Bud Light sales at Union venues fell by 2.6%, but it continued to fall each and every week after that. It's been so wild to me to watch this. And now when you have Ron DeSantis getting involved, it's going to be interesting to see. And when you look at the InBev stock, it's actually up $1 this week. If you look at the last month, it's up $2. But if you look at the 6 months, it's down, let's say call about even year to date. But if we look at the 1 year, I mean, the stock has pretty much recovered. Now, it's 5 year. It's down $43 a share from its 5-year high. But, I mean, investors are pumping money back in. It seems like InBev may have been able to kind of offset. I think part of it is that a lot of people didn't know that InBev also owned half of the brands people were switching to. I mean, everyone switched to Modelo, but InBev owns that too. So certainly the Bud Light drop is big, but to be fair in covering this, the jump in Modelo probably offset it somewhat, right? Then when you see an offset in people went to Modelo, Stella, all these other beers that InBev also owns, it's probably not as rough. Now, it's still embarrassing. It's still brutal for Bud Light to keep having these headlines. But, it's interesting to see if Ron DeSantis does go through. It's going to be interesting. You see, while Bud Light sales have stayed relatively steady in Dylan's home state of California, some customers seem to be turning to Miller Lite as sales have increased 2%. A bar owner in Charleston, South Carolina, told Union that prior to the Dylan ad, he used to sell at least 10 cases of Bud Light each week. Now, the owner of the Recovery Room Tavern, that's a great name, sells 1 to 3 cases in some week. That's a 90% decrease. 90%. At another Charleston bar, Blind Tiger Pub, the manager said that sales of Bud Lights are almost non-existent, to the points where he replaced Bud Light Draft to Michelob Ultra on the now see that they're both owned by InBev. So people need to still get that word out, right? At first I thought it might blow over pretty quick, but I think it's pretty apparent that this isn't going anywhere for a long time, General Manager Clayton Dukes told the Union. At some retailers, Bud Light was reportedly selling for less than water. You just love to see it. You love to see, actual benefits, people getting out there, making change, making their voices heard. It's absolutely great. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope I've earned your subscription or follow wherever you watch me. I work hard to hopefully do right by you and keep you informed and entertained. And I hope that you'll do that. Also, make sure you check out quarteringgold.com. Protect your long-term investments in your retirement and insulate yourself against this crazy digital dollar thing. We'll talk to you again real soon.